There's an economic principle called Wright's Law. In simple terms, it shows that as production of a technology increases, the cost of producing it falls. We've seen this before. Think about automobiles. Think about computers. The more we made, the cheaper they became. Energy is now following the same path. Over the past decade alone, the cost of solar panels has fallen by nearly 90%. Wind power is down about 70%. Battery storage costs have dropped roughly 85%. And the important point is this: those costs are still falling. Over the next few decades, renewable energy is likely to get cheaper still. But the story doesn't stop there. Replacing expensive fossil fuels with lower cost renewables has the potential to reduce the global energy bill by more than $10 trillion over the coming decades. That's not a rounding error. That's a structural shift in how the world powers itself. Then there's the issue we rarely quantify properly: damage. Rising temperatures, driven in part by fossil fuel use, intensifies natural disasters, floods, storms, droughts, wildfires. The economic damage from these events is enormous, and it continues to grow. So what's the cost savings of less severe damage? Whatever the number is, and it's likely very large, it should be added to the savings from the energy transition itself. Of course, there's a subtraction we can't ignore. What happens to existing fossil fuel infrastructure as it becomes obsolete? Power plants, pipelines, refineries. All of it represents sunk capital. That transition cost is real. But the critical question is this: is the cost large enough to negate the long-term savings? Probably not. What does matter, however, is timing. When do the savings become tangible? And when do the costs of transition become due? That gap between upfront investment and long-term benefit may ultimately be the biggest change to sustained commitment. One final point: as renewable energy costs continue to decline, the price of fossil fuels does not, nor does their connection to geopolitical tension, competition over resources, financial flows, and political leverage. But that's a subject for another day. For now, the takeaway is simple. The energy transition isn't just an environmental story, it's an economic one. And if you want to understand how these structural shifts affect markets, portfolios, and long-term planning, I encourage you to learn more. Visit larreawealth.com to stay connected, read our insights, and schedule a conversation. Because understanding where the economy is going is the first step towards positioning yourself for it.